Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Kara is around here somewhere. And today we are talking about ceramic rods. We're going to do a little knife talk on ceramic rods. I find that these things are almost essential in any knife collector's collection, chef's collection, or a sharpener, somebody who likes to sharpen. I'm not going to say they're like you have to have one, but you should. Now, first up, I just want to say that we are doing a live tonight at 7:30 p.m. If you want to join us, it's 7:30 p.m. Central Time every Wednesday and Saturday. So if you guys want to join us, that will be tonight. Also, thanks to all our Patreon members. If you'd like to join our Patreon and become be a part of monthly giveaways. This month we're giving away a ProTech PT. Down in the description there is a link. There's also lots of other links, like links to this and diamond stones, sharpening supplies, knives, all kinds of stuff. Go check them out. So, ceramic rods. Now there's lots of ways you can use this. So, like, say if you've used your knife, and I'm gonna bust out this old cheap buck right here. This is a real beater knife. I use this to clean my strops with. I don't know what kind of buck it is, but yeah. Anyways, so there's lots of things you can use these for. One, they're harder than steel, so it is ceramic. It's not stronger than steel, it's harder than steel, so it'll cut any kind of steel for the most part. I mean, I've never seen a steel it couldn't cut. So it'll cut any steel. If you drop it, it will shatter. But like, say if I used my knife for the day and I got some nicks, right, in my blade, and I don't have time or don't want to do a full sharpening, I can just hit it very lightly on the stone, or maybe my edges rolled a little bit, right? I can straighten up that roll with just literally 4 or 5 passes. Then I'll strop it on my strop. Very easy. Now, another way it's really good for, and this way I use it all the time, say if I have 3 stones, right? I have my coarse stone, my medium stone, and my fine stone. When I'm going in between my coarse and my medium, like say if I sharpen one side, now if I'm sharpening this side, before I flip to this side, there will be a burr. Now that burr can be aggressive on my diamond plates, and if I knock it off on this side, one, it can break diamonds off. Number 2, it can be on my stone now, all the little metal shavings or the metal wires from the burr being from the bottom all the way up to the top, and when I knock it off, it's going to be on my plate. Now I don't want to sharpen over those, so now I'm going to have to wipe off my plate and clean my plate off and then sharpen this side. Or what I can do is I can sharpen this side till there's a burr on this side. Once there's a burr on this side, I can knock it off and then sharpen up this side. And then when there's a burr on, when I done sharpening this side and I got a good apex and the burr is on this side now, I can knock it off and then either just go to my next stone, or I can tune it up really quick and then go to my next stone. Now I might possibly do that again on this stone, or I might not, depending on how big my burr is, how aggressive it is. But most likely I will, because I'm going to create another burr with my fine stone, so that's not that big of a deal. Now I'm not going to put any pressure when I knock it off. I'm literally just going to use the weight of my arm or the blade and knock it off. Now if I'm going to do a full sharpening on one of these, which you actually can do, this cuts steel very, very, very fast. So I can actually do a full-blown sharpening on this. Now, if I'm going to do a full-blown sharpening and I got a little damage to my blade, now remember I said a little damage to my blade, then I'm going to put a little bit more pressure when I do each side. Not a lot, just a little bit of pressure. You have to be able to hold and maintain your angle. See all that steel? Now, if it's not that much damage, I'm just going to do it nice and lightly and then strop. But if I'm going to do a full-blown sharpening, I'm definitely going to want to hold my angle and put as much pressure as I can in order to hold my angle. Now, if I can't hold my angle, then I'm putting too much pressure. Now, if I'm not doing, like I said, a full-blown sharpening, it's not that big of a deal that I hold my angle. Now, it's better if you do, but you can get by, because you're going to do it very lightly, with just hitting the edge to the ceramic. Don't think about it too much. Don't go up and down. Don't go too flat. Just find your angle and knock that burr off. Or if you're doing it in between sharpenings, you can do that too. But if you're going to knock your burr off, also just hold it at an angle. It's not that big of a deal. It's only a big deal if you're actually going to do a full sharpening. Okay, so another thing you can do is let me raise this up. You can actually hold this thing, tilt it at an angle, find an angle, say 25 degrees or something. And if you want to get a tool to figure out if you're holding it at a perfect angle, you can. Or you can even just take like a piece of wood and mark 2 angles on it, and then hold this up, match the angle, and then make sure your wrist is straight up and down, your knife is straight up and down, and drag it. That will help you keep your angle. Then flip to this side, you can do the same thing. Oop. Now, you can get like a little board with, and then drill 2 holes at an angle so that you know it's the same angle. There's lots of ways you can use this. It has a little hole here so you can hang it on a hook in your kitchen. You can also replace those piece of crap metal ones you got in the kitchen. Let's talk about the kitchen now. So in the kitchen, you know, people have the metal blocks in their chef knife block, you know, where you put your knives. They usually have a metal one, right? And it's got a bunch of lines down it. Those things, I don't like them. I think they're horrible. I think they do a lot of damage to your blade, and I do not recommend them at all. Is there a place for them? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess if you've used your chef knife a lot and you just need to knock off the metal shards, you can do that, but you can also do that with this, and you can do a lot more with this that you can't do with the metal one. So, say if you've used your kitchen knife and you've used it on ceramic, which you shouldn't, but you know, your chopping block, and you can feel you got a little, this thing's absolutely dull. There's lots of burrs going back and forth. I need to do a full sharpening. It's actually sharp back here still, but not up here. Up here it's dull. So I would just not try to be too picky about my angle and just lightly drag it across at an angle. And then if I have a strop, I would strop my blade after this and use it. Now, if you're using stropping compound, make sure you wash your blade. Also wash it even if you're using this, because there's going to be little metal shards. See, that tuned it up a lot more than it just was. So if you use a strop though, I think chromium oxide can cause cancer, so make sure you wash all your tools off after using stropping compound. I think a lot of people know that, but just in case if you didn't know that. But this thing is very, very valuable in the kitchen. You can actually even sharpen your knives if you do enough one-in-one passes. Now, you can also just do a full-blown sharpening on it. I recommend using stones, but you can do it. You can do it because this thing cuts steel so fast. And like I said, no pressure when you're doing the one-in-one. Now, if you're going to do a full-blown sharpening, then yeah, add a little pressure. But very, very valuable to the kitchen and to anybody who has a pocket knife, anybody who likes to sharpen. So, cleaning it is super, super easy. You see the steel on it that it's already cut. And you know what, just to create a little bit more, I'll show you really quick. And you see all the steel on there, if it'll focus. Use a little soap and water. I put a little soap and water on there. Comes right off. You can wash it right in your sink with some soap and water and a rag, scrub brush, something like that. There's lots of different things to clean these off with, but they're very, very easy to clean. You can see there's a couple little lines still there, but I'm obviously not at the sink. But yeah, they're very easy to maintain. They work really fast. They work really good. They're only like 20 bucks, $20 for something like this. Like I said, I got links below. There's different kinds. There's also diamond ones. If you're going to use a diamond one, obviously it's going to be a little more aggressive. So, you know, you could use that one first and then this one. Or just use this one, depending on what you're wanting to do with it. But remember, it does cut fast. So, and that's a good thing, because then you don't have to spend so much time on it, and it actually does what you're wanting to do. You can sharpen your chef knife very quick in the kitchen and then get to cutting, you know, and you can always maintain your edge, because let's be real, in the kitchen, we do a lot of damage to these chef knives, you know, from doing the rock and cuts and, you know, like all the different cuts, sliding it across, you know, cutting boards and stuff. These things need to be maintained. This thing's really sharp right there. Whew. But then it gets dull from here to here. You can obviously tell that this doesn't get used. Let's see if we can cut some paper with this thing, because when I first started, I should have just did it when I first started, but I wasn't thinking about it. But this thing is, it was very, very dull, and it still is very, very dull. But it should be a lot better. I just ripped out a piece of paper from a book. Okay. Obviously, the heel is more sharper. It needs a full-blown sharpening, but I could literally spend maybe one more minute on this ceramic rod, and I really wouldn't have to go full-blown sharpening. Now, it would be better to eventually do that. Like, this is to maintain the edge. Like I said, you can do full-blown sharpenings on it. In my opinion, what I like to do is do full-blown sharpenings and then just maintain it on this for a couple months, you know, in between sharpenings. And then it also benefits me when I'm using it for pocket knives and stuff. So like I said, there's lots and lots of things you can do with these ceramic rods. They're very light. Like I said, the one thing you do have to worry about is dropping them. You do not want to drop them. If you drop them, you will absolutely shatter it. But they're cheap. Like I said, you can keep it in your chopping block, or what? Not chopping block, your chef block. You can keep it in a drawer. Just be careful. I keep it with my sharpening stuff because I use it so often. I literally use this thing every time I sharpen. And then there's also other little things I use it for. Like, say, if I have something metal, right, and I need to put a divot in it or clean the surface off really quick or something, right? This thing's so hard I can do it. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, say if I need to flatten out a screw, right, the top of a screw, I could lay the screw on there and scrape it across there, and it'll literally flatten it. Obviously this is rounded, so I'm talking about a small screw, but there's so many things you could do with this. It's such a hard surface that you can do so much with it. Very, very highly recommendable. Like I said, there's some, and this is a rubber handle. I forgot to tell you guys, this is rubber. This one's from Cabela's. I did get this from Bass Pro, this one. I didn't want to wait for one, and I was at Bass Pro and I saw it, and it was only 20 bucks, so I grabbed it. The ones online are basically about the same price. So there you guys go. I love you guys. Don't forget to live tonight. Peace!